Everyone, thank you for tuning back into my channel. So the topic of this video today is going to be about marriage, some of my views on marriage, and regarding how many amazing marriages do you guys really see. And I really want to make this video as interactive as possible, so please leave comments down in the comments section and really share your thoughts and perspectives regarding this. I've seen less than a handful, literally maybe less than 3 marriages where I was like, wow, they are on absolute fire, those two. They were born for each other. I really want that and I'm missing out. I've literally almost never thought that, okay? In 30 years, guys. And I'm gonna get into my thoughts in marriage here in just a second, but one example I'm going to give you is Andy Elliott. So for those of you that don't know Andy Elliott, he's an influencer. He sold the most cars in the history of the whole car sales space. So he's got 1 million followers, stuff like that. What he's posted, and again, a lot of this is optics on social media, but what he posts about his relationship, and from what I could tell, that is literally the type of marriage that I would want. They are literally on fire. They were literally born for each other. They built businesses together. They've overcome adversity together. And you can just tell, they're both bringing stuff to the table. She's like a driven woman who could make money. They're both into the gym. They both are self-improving and building. And they're building an empire together. That's the key here. They're building an empire together mutually. And they've been through adversity when they had nothing. That is the only marriage I could literally think of. I know it's a celebrity example, but even in the people in my life where I'm like, wow, I want that. I feel like a lot of people get married today for the wrong reasons. I feel like they get married to fill a void inside, right? Because they don't feel good enough. They want to feel validated from another person, or they want to feel accepted into this societal mold, right? This is the societal mold we live in. You grow up, you get an education, you get married, and you have a white picket fence, right? A lot of people, right, as the world is progressing, that may not be the best fit for everyone, okay? And that's why society is changing as well. In the 1920s, 30s, 40s, 50s, our grandparents, our great-great-grandparents, right? You essentially had to get married. The marriage rates were through the roof, and the divorce rates were way lower than they were. And you essentially had to get married to be able to really live and have people to take care of you if you have children, offspring later in your life. And for women to have a provider, right? Women now, they're more independent, right? They could work in corporate jobs. They could make enough money. They don't need a man, right? So marriage, everything has changed. That's why when you go and meet your grandparents at a family occasions, hey, when are you getting married? You're 30. When are you getting married? Oh my God, they're looking at you like something's wrong with you. But in reality, I feel like a lot of people that are single, in my situation at least, it's because there's more right with us than wrong with us. What do I mean by that? Listen, I don't mean this egotistically, but I'm handsome. I have more money than any guy that I know my age. And I'm very mentally healthy and have a good upbringing. I'm a high value guy. I could have a girlfriend tomorrow if I wanted one. I've said this for years. You know how many girls I could have as a girlfriend right now? I'm holding out for something better, something that I really know is right for me. That's why I'm single, and I actually enjoy being single. I am so driven that if I got tied up with the wrong person and married them, do you know how much time that would distract from my goals of building businesses, climbing the corporate ladder, going to the gym, working on myself, right? The biggest decision anyone's ever going to make in their life is who they partner up with, okay? That's the biggest decision you're ever going to make in your life. And there's a lot of girls I meet, and I'm very good at reading people and intuitive. There are girls I can meet that are drop dead gorgeous, and I've met them, and we're vibing and they liked me, but I knew right away this girl is a problem. If you get married to her, she's going to detract from your life, right? And so I just don't pursue anything with those types of girls. And a lot of people get married due to loneliness as well, in my opinion. They reach an age where they feel like, hey, I want to be accepted. Maybe they want kids, so they have the pressure of a biological clock, especially women. Once women hit 30, 31, 2, 3, 4, and they want kids, guys, women that I know, that I worked with in the past, they told me, Eric, I'm going to put you on game right now. A lot of women that I know, because I'm a woman, when they turn 30, 31, 32, they literally just go with the next guy so they could have kids. They literally rush it. They know that maybe they're not like soulmates per se, but they have no choice, and because they want children, and they just go with the next guy. So picture a lot of these girls, right, that screwed around in their 20s, had fun, partied, right, passed up on all these great guys. But then when they hit the wall and they realize, man, I want kids, I've been partying for the last decade, I'm 33, this guy, he's good enough, I'm going to go with him. At least I'll have kids. If it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out, right? I would never be that guy because I'm smart enough to know if I'm getting played, but it'd be horrible to be that guy. And there are a lot of guys that are like that. So again, I think a lot of marriage is societal brainwashing and societal molding, if you will, right? It's funny that a guy like me, right, that is handsome, that is extremely successful, right, and who's been single for many years, I could walk into a family reunion and all the elders, right, that don't even know me that well, right, like I'm talking like people like in their 60s, 70s, 80s. And then there could be a guy that's 6 years younger than me, 24, has credit card debt, is skinny, doesn't speak the best, but he has a girlfriend, right? And it's funny how the elders, or a lot of people that are NPCs and brainwashed by society, will say, Eric, there must be something wrong with him. He's handsome, he's older, he's single, like there's something wrong with this guy. But this guy, right, who makes less money, who is in less good a shape, is less disciplined, is less attractive to the opposite sex in every regard, every aspect, looks, money, status, but he has a girlfriend, an average girlfriend. He knows what's up. He's on a better trajectory in life. That is such a flawed way of thinking, right? It's so flawed. And what's funny is as I've gotten older, I used to be that guy in my early 20s and in college, high school. I would see people getting clicked up, partnered up. And I did have thoughts back then of, man, I'm just not good enough. I'm just not good enough. I know a lot of people watching that video would think I'm just not good enough. Well, after a year of self-development, becoming a completely different person, becoming damn near a millionaire, becoming handsome, successful, independent, liking being single, that takes a lot from me to actually give this up now, give up my goals, give up my freedom, give up this for someone else, right? And it's going to take a lot. And there's a lot of guys that I've seen that have, and again, looks aren't everything, they're not, but they have average wives, average in every way. I could get a girl like that. I canceled the date with a girl tonight with a very sweet average girl. I canceled the date with her because I knew deep down she was looking for something very serious, and I, with her, wasn't looking for something that serious, and I went our separate ways. But the point I'm trying to make is when I walk into the room, right, a lot of people from high school or people, that got married at 21 years old, they know deep down, they know all these years later, Eric could get my girl, right? He could get girls better than my girl. Whereas 10 years ago, right, that wasn't the story. So you could see, guys, men age like fine wine if you keep improving over time. So I'm going to get into some deeper topics now regarding marriage and my real thoughts about it. So the divorce rate is right around 50%. This is my biggest fear in life, guys, is divorce. So flip a coin. Literally, regardless of who you marry, flip a coin. That's the odds it's going to work or not. Now, I'm someone who has a lot of assets and resources that I've accumulated due to my hard work. So my biggest fear is marrying someone. Imagine a business decision. Imagine you grow a huge business and someone says, hey, you're going to do this transaction, sign this contract. There's a 50% chance it's going to wipe out half of your business. But there's a 50% chance it's going to go really amazing and be one of the best things for you. Most people wouldn't do that. It doesn't make sense. So my biggest fear is strictly from the governmental and legal side of it. If I get divorced, right, I worked my ass off to become, hopefully by the time this video is published, a millionaire. And if I marry a girl, we are together 2 years, she could cheat on me or something could happen, right? I could be a faithful, loyal husband. She divorces me, I lose half my money that I've worked hard for. That's my biggest fear. Now, people watching video will say, Eric, just get a prenup, just get a prenup. I've done countless hours of research on prenups, and they don't always hold up in the court of law, and a lot of it depends on what state you're in. All right, joint bank accounts, if you mixed money together, I know you could put your house in your parents' name, cars in your parents' name, things like that, but at the end of the day, getting married is very, very sticky from a financial situation. So I've literally come to this point in life, and it's very sad. It's very sad. But I could meet a 23-year-old girl that is a 10 out of 10, a bombshell. She could be a really good person, a faithful, loyal girl. But she could have 50 grand in student loan debt. She could just barely be getting on her feet or have a very mediocre job. And in my brain, it's just so hard for me to truly be there to connect with her, because I know here's what my net worth is. She's in debt. And I know that there's a 50% chance that this isn't going to work out. So my fear is very, very, very monetary when it comes to marriages. That's why my dream girl, which is very hard to find, is a girl that is going to be obviously physically attractive to me, not have hopefully been around the block with a million guys ran through, is smart, educated, good morals, but also has a good career and a good income. Someone that I could build an empire with and that I could grow with. That is my dream girl right there. A lot of guys, right, they actually want stay-at-home moms, right? And what I've found is, good on those guys, right? Maybe they have different views, different things that'll satisfy them. But I've found that a lot of girls that say, that have come up to me and said, I want to be a stay-at-home mom. That's my goal, to be a housewife. They're lazy, okay? That's my opinion. A lot of these girls, they're lazy. A lot of these guys that want to stay-at-home mom, these guys are insecure / power freaks. What do I mean by that? A lot of guys want a stay-at-home mom because she's going to be totally dependent on him for everything. Finances, resource, putting food on the table. It gives him kind of an upper hand in the relationship. And I found that a lot of toxic guys, right, not healed, healthy guys, they like that dynamic. Now, guys, don't misconstrue what I'm saying. There are a lot of healthy marriages, such as my parents, where my mom was a housewife and my dad, was the main sole provider. But in today's contemporary society, I think it's a little different. So guys, here's a real issue with getting married super young, 21, 2, 3 years old. You don't even know who you are yet. Oh, I know who I am. You don't. Because when you're 21, 2, or 3, you're going to be a totally different person from when you're 30, 31, 32, or 33, okay? So you don't even fully know who you are yet. And guys, from a biological perspective, most guys, okay, every guy thinks this way, whether he wants to admit it or not. Most guys want to know what it's like to have slept with numerous women. I have a friend in particular who's only been with one girl. He married her. They dated from like middle school. And deep down, he's basically admitted it. He has this thought over and over and over again of what would it be like to sleep with another woman. I've got married super young. I've been not monogamously, and I've never slept with another girl. I don't know what it's like at all to be with another girl. Guys, that I always had this self-awareness for being very young. I couldn't do that. Even if it was the perfect girl for me, right? Childhood sweethearts, I couldn't actually be with one girl my whole life. I knew that I was going to have to get out there, sow my wild oats, have my fun, get it out of my system, then I could focus on that. So guys, I've had enough sexual experiences now and experiences with women to where I could genuinely be monogamous and happy with one person the rest of my life because I've got it out of my system, okay? I really think as a males and masculinity, you have to go through that hoe phase, if you will, or learning pickup, cold approaching, dating, and get those notches under your belt, as superficial as it sounds, so you could have that fun and not always be thinking, what would it be like? Man, you know, I've only been with 1 or 2 girls my whole life. Now I'm married at 25 and I can never be with a girl the rest of my life. This is what leads to a lot of infidelity, a lot of cheating and regret, okay? I'm not gonna have that regret, and I never wanted it. So guys, a lot of people, males in particular, if they haven't sowed their wild oats or had many sexual experiences with women, deep down, sometimes that manifests itself in a monogamous marriage as starting to resent your partner, okay? So let's say I'm 22, I got married, I've dated this girl since early high school, got married, only been with her, graduated college, proposed, okay? By the time we're 26, 7, 8, and I'm really thinking those thoughts of, man, I just wonder what it would be like to be with another girl sexually. I love my wife, but you know, I just feel like I missed out. It manifests itself in starting to resent your partner a little bit. And that's not good. You don't want to resent your partner. Guys, my views on marriage is I want a loving marriage where I'm building an empire. I know what I bring to the table. I bring a hell of a lot to the table. I'm a high value guy, smart, with good morals, okay? I'm good in the bedroom. I make more money than literally anyone I've ever met. I know there are guys out there that make more money than me, but I make a shit ton of money, right? I have a good body. I have everything literally in my favor. I'm just not 6 foot tall. I'm like 5'9", which that's fine. That's literally, other than not being 6 foot tall, I'm literally that guy in every aspect of life. And I know what I bring to the table. And this is what's a little lonely and sad for a guy like me. I'm literally that guy. I could get a date every night of the week if I wanted. I could go on Bumble, swipe. I could get girls and sex whenever I want. Female companionship whenever I want. And I see that most of these girls, they have nothing to offer me. Nothing. Besides how they look and in physical intimacy. And that's not enough for me because, again, I'm not going to risk this whole empire I built and take a chance for a girl that really that has nothing, that brings nothing. She's a good person, she's very pretty, but she's 23 and she's in student loan debt. It terrifies the crap out of me. And so again, I feel like if I could just drop her out of the sky, I've met her a few times, but actually vibing on a personal level, that's a different story. But on paper, this is what I'm looking for. Gorgeous, smart, hasn't been ran through, and has a good income, and has goals in her career and doesn't want to be a stay-at-home mom. After those boxes are checked, then if we truly have a soul connection, that's the girl for me, and I'll know it. If they don't check some of those boxes or even one of them, that's when I transition with that girl into, hey, you seem really great. I actually just got done seeing someone. I'm kind of just going with the flow. I'm not really sure I want anything serious right now. I would love to hang out with you, have fun, see what happens. But I'm just kind of going with the flow. I don't like to hurt people. I like to be straightforward. What are you looking for? Does this sound like something you'd be open to? Guys, the reason I say that is because I'm essentially feeling out, is this girl down to maybe be casually date, be friends with benefits, be a fling per se, right? Guys, I have a lot of flings and I know going into them they're flings and I feel totally fine with them as long as I know I'm not hurting the other girl. I believe in karma, okay? I've never hurt woman. Now guys, here's another few things I want to mention in this video. So a lot of guys, when they hang out with their boys or they get drunk, or even my barber, I literally sit in this chair here. I got a haircut 2 days ago and she was telling me this. She was saying, men will come and get their haircut with me. She's a woman and they'll complain about their wives and how they're not happy. I can't tell you how many coworkers, different ones, have told me, hey, Eric, the kids and the white picket fence, It's not all it's cracked out to be, man. Wait, you're 30, wait till you're 35, man. Guys, there's a reason it's called settling down as opposed to settling up, right? If it was so great, marriage and kids, which I'm sure it's amazing in certain situations, if it was so great, why does your family and your friends say, Eric, when are you going to settle down? Right? Why wouldn't they say, Eric, when are you going to settle up? Right? When are you going to settle up? Right? No, my life is great right now. I know that I'm going to keep, knock on wood, aging very well up until 40, getting more money, resources, experience, confidence, right? It's just going to keep going up. And then I believe I'm truly going to manifest the right person for me. And if I don't, guys, I am 100% happy on my own. I don't need it. Now, a few other things I'm going to mention, and then I'm going to close this video out, is how many happy marriages, leave a comment down below of how many marriages or significant others you see that you really want. And what I mean by that is this: 50% of marriages fail. Okay? Let's take a guess that 15% of them are just coexisting. There's no passion anymore in the marriage. They're roommates, haven't had sex in years, dead bedroom, right? Let's say 15% of the remaining, they're just coexisting, they're not even happy. I think that's a pretty fair number. Let's say 10%, okay? So that was 65% we've covered so far. Let's say 10%, so now we're at 75%. Let's say 10% are just still together for the kids. They're just together for the kids. They're just existing. Okay? Right? So right there, I think that's a prudent number. That's 75% of marriages aren't good. That means 1/4 of them are good, where they're healthy, still enjoy amazing sex years deep into it. They still are on fire, have amazing chemistry, have the perfect dynamic. They were made for each other. I think 25%, right? I think that's way higher than in reality. That's why the marriage rates are declining and the divorce rates are going up. Our society, guys, we're 24 minutes into this video. Listen to this. Our society doesn't value the sanctity of marriage anymore. It doesn't. And as a high value guy that has a shit ton to lose and has my choice of a lot of the woman, it's going to take a needle in the haystack for me to get married. I know that I will probably one day, but it's going to be with an absolutely incredible woman. And I may not find her. I really may not find her. Because again, I'm not settling. I know what I want and I know what I bring to the table and I know what the risks are. And again, when there's literally 4 different girls I could call up at any point in time that I could have physical fun with right now. And when you get to the point where you don't need monogamy or a girlfriend or a wife for sex anymore, you look at women totally differently. I look at women now for what are their mindset like, their intelligence, their career, what do they bring to the table? It has nothing to do with sex because I could get sex whenever I want. Marriage actually is detracting from me, in my opinion, in that department, right? Being monogamous the rest of my life, let's be honest, guys, I'm fine with it and I'll really enjoy it with the right woman. But that's a sacrifice because I'm not monogamous. I've been with over 50 women in my life, right? I could get with women, I turn them down left and right now because I don't really do that anymore, stuff like that. But what I'm trying to say is monogamy in and of itself as a high value guy is a trade-off. It's a sacrifice. A lot of guys, I met a guy, he was really young, but he said he's excited for marriage for 2 reasons. And this is when I knew that we just were not on the same wavelength and that he was brainwashed. He's an NPC. He said he's happy for marriage for 2 reasons. Dual income. Dude, marriage would never benefit me financially. That's because I've elevated to such a high point. And so I would never get married to a woman because, oh, she's going to help me financially. Like, that shouldn't even cross a guy's mind. The second thing is he said more sex. Like, everyone knows when you're married, as the years go by, your sex life decreases and you're monogamous usually. So you're not having... Variety's fun, guys. Variety is the spice of life. It's fun. right? But there's a trade-off. So again, wrapping this video up, my belief on marriage is this. I'm happy alone. I really have a healthy, good, mature mindset regarding woman connection. And I'm someone who, if I get married, I genuinely want it to be the rest of my life. And I will make that commitment in sickness and in health to that person. But I know that there's a shit ton for me that I'm risking monetarily. I know that I'm sacrificing sexually in a way, right? Because I'll be monogamous forever now. I wouldn't want to have an open marriage or play around. And I know that I bring a lot to the table. So to find that girl that brings that much to the table, it's very difficult to find. And when I do find it, those girls literally could get any guy that they want. So the competition for those types of girls is through the roof. And a lot of them are a pain in the butt and have huge egos as well and very masculine kind of vibes. But that's what'll make me get married. Those are some of my thoughts on marriage. I know this video has gone on quite a while. So again, guys, I really appreciate you tuning in. Here are some of my thoughts about marriage and dating in modern times. Feel free to comment. Let me know what you think. Let me know if you agree or disagree with some of the things I'm saying. And like, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next video.